Hi there, my name is Steve, this is TQA Weekly, and this week, why HTTPS, point-to-point encryption, and data security are essential. A broad topic, but I want to have a conversation down below. So these are the things that would happen if HTTPS and point-to-point encryption and data security weren't just a norm, but a requirement in having a website or application. Whenever you would access a website, you'd be the only one besides the website or application to know what you were accessing. You'd be the only one to be able to see the contents. Any content that you submit to the website would be safe from modification and interception. On top of all that, your ISP wouldn't be able to know what you were doing. Every transaction online would be more secure. Of course, they have to be. That's the entire point of them. And on top of all that, your conversations would be private, with only you, the recipient, and the service being aware of what your conversations were, unless, it was a cool service that had point-to-point encryption, allowing for only you and the recipient to be aware of the messages. In this case, if it was done well, malicious code wouldn't be able to be injected inside of any of those messages, as that would result in corrupted packets, which would be ignored anyway. And as a final token, if this is all done properly, your session cookies cannot be stolen and you won't be impersonated online. This is what would happen if HTTPS, point-to-point encryption, data security were all essentially required and mandatory on the internet for all websites and applications. Now, knowing all of that, why isn't the internet like that? Why aren't more websites using SSL encryption to protect every end user? Why aren't more applications doing that? Well, the first reason is cost. It generally does cost more than you think for an SSL certificate, especially if you want one that has that green bar or anything. And of course, the implementation of SSL certificates is also a little bit more complicated than you would think. If you just use a basic manual and follow those instructions and you have no experience, you might end up with a website with security that is much weaker than you would think. So let's get into that. Why is that? So making a website is easy. Coding is easy. However, making a secure website safe is hard work, and it needs to be updated, and developers need to be careful about everything from mitigating cross-site scripting vulnerabilities, dealing with data and protecting it, and making sure that all encryption is strong and properly implemented. So let's get a few of these things across, okay? HTTPS and point-to-point encryption can be considered the same thing. Okay, we're talking about an SSL tunnel or TLS tunnel if you actually want to be more up to date. And data security on a website and how code interacts with data is something entirely different. Those are two worlds that we need to think about. And there are decisions when you are coding that need to be taken into consideration early on. And while I'm at it, I am aware that some clients want to see the code function before they deal with security. And to those clients, you are morons. You are inepts and rejects and retarded in the sense that you're going to be thinking about security too late. So the correct process of building secure scripts, codes, and programs starts from line one. Starts with intent, number one. How are we going to deal with all content coming into the program? Whether it is from the database, whether it is from the website, whether it's from the environment itself, because you can infect things with code in the environment as well. How are you going to deal with all of this data from the beginning? SQL injection is possible from a cookie. It is possible from the user. It is possible from the environment. So how does the programmer think about it? The thing is that there is a lot of gifted programmers that lack data security and secure programming experience, and they're not taught this kind of stuff from the very beginning. They are taught how to code elegantly and functionally, but not necessarily securely, with a focus on data security from the beginning. You see, it is easier to make code secure from the very beginning with the intent of data security from line one and committing to data security throughout the entire process of coding, even if, of course, that limits the reusability of various functions in the process. However, the coding overhead required to code securely after the fact is incredibly ridiculous. Not to mention, and this is why a lot of you clients that want the code to work first before it's coded correctly are being retarded and morons. When you think about it after, your code doesn't just become more convoluted and complicated, it risks having bugs in it. And there will always have bugs, but we're talking about having a lot more bugs than you want to, and patching it is going to be a ridiculous amount of effort all the time. You will always need developers and testers to throw everything at it all the time from the beginning just to make sure that it is safe. And why am I talking about it? Because if every business were to start by coding with data security as being their first mindset, we wouldn't have had issues with Facebook and Scotiabank and Desjardins and many others. These would all disappear in a heartbeat because coders could go as far as making it impossible to do things such as complete extraction of users and client information from databases, which I have done easily. They'd be able to prevent man-in-the-middle attacks, cross-site scripting issues, things that affect all of this. They might even be able to prevent the script of the website from ending up on the public internet. Those are things that happen to Facebook, Scotiabank, and Desjardins. Now, you might be wondering about how far data security has to go and whether justice departments, police, and etc. need to introduce backdoors or data collection laws to learn how to control the code that we make. But that, however, is a topic that we'll be discussing and focusing on next time. Like this topic if you like it, dislike it if you didn't, share with those that you think could benefit from this, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions for topics, email me at ask@tqaweekly.com or go to my website, tqaweekly.com, for the show notes of this episode, past others, answers to other questions, and of course the contact form to email me directly. And of course, if you want to see me play video games such as Far Cry New Dawn, go to twitch.tv/ZDAXIS1981, where I stream every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday starting at midnight Eastern Time and go on for about 3 to 4 hours. Thank you for watching and goodbye, and don't forget to post your comments down below.